At the end of the last book, the series hit the reset button. So Elena and her friends are living in a new reality where Klaus never visited their town and caused endless vampire drama. But if Klaus never visited their town, doesn't that mean he's still alive somewhere? That seems like something our heroes should worry about at some point.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
The new reality is interesting. I liked seeing Elena's family members again. They interact with characters who used to be dead, and they're surprised by all the changes in this world, like Bonnie got into college here, Elena was prom queen, and Matt's football team won the championships. Every now and then we get a scene of Damon coming back to life on a faraway planet. The book's explanation is condensation. Just like how water droplets can form together, the pieces of Damon's soul formed together because there was a lot of magic power in the air when he died. I don't know if it was the power of fangirls or plot convenience, but Damon's back, baby. Meredith's boyfriend Alaric is coming to town, and I was confused because he should not know her in this new reality. He only visited their town because of the vampire attacks. Since those attacks never happened, he shouldn't have come to town and met Meredith, right? But hey, Alaric's research assistant in the last book was a hot babe named Dr. Celia Connors. That's a love triangle, and we want to milk that drama cow for all it's worth. Celia and Meredith get super jealous and clingy. Alaric pretends not to notice their fighting, presumably because if he favors one woman, the other will kill him. We meet a hot blonde guy named Caleb Smallwood. In this universe, he moved in at the start of summer and became good friends with Elena. There's definite boyfriend potential as they bond over the fact that they both have dead parents, and like I said, he is super hot. Like, maybe even hotter than the gorgeous vampires. I didn't know that was possible. Celia's name is written in blood, and she almost dies when her scarf is caught in the train door. Meredith's name appears in the scarf, and she almost drowns. Our heroes learn a shadowy villain. Well, it's Elena's fault, this villain. Elena accidentally freed it because it was trapped in a prisoner inside the planet where Damon died. I think they used that same story in a Dragon Ball Z movie. The villain manipulates everyone's emotions to make them jealous of each other. I thought this was well written, in that the characters get super emotional and dramatic in a realistic way. You could see this happening naturally without an emotions villain, because that's how Elena acted in the original books. And yeah, Bonnie should be mad that she was demoted from main character to sidekick. And Matt doesn't have a life beyond Elena, and Stefan does get taken for granted. Stefan refuses to leave Elena alone because he wants to keep her safe. She is shocked that he's not following her orders. Did he just treat her with disrespect? Yeah, it's a major turn-on whenever Damon does that, but not when Stefan does it. Stefan discovers that Caleb is using a magic spell, and he's got a creepy shrine to Elena with dozens of pictures of her. Stefan beats Caleb to unconsciousness. Our heroes are terrified that Stefan has become a violent maniac who attacks people for no reason. Stefan explains. No, wait, he doesn't explain anything. He just lets everyone think he's a villain for 6 chapters. Celia's not needed anymore, so she leaves her 150 pages to research at a university. Meredith tells Alaric that she's a vampire hunter, and Damon returns from the dead. His first instinct is to get romantic with Elena, naturally. He makes her promise not to tell the others he's alive, which is a terrible idea that she shouldn't have gone along with. They examine Caleb's shrine. He's actually a fake-out villain. His magic spell was a glamour charm to make himself look hot. Ha! I knew he was cheating. Nobody's that hot normally. He has pictures of Elena because he remembers the other reality. He's been trying to figure out what the heck happened. Why do I have 2 conflicting sets of memories? Caleb is the only person who remembers both realities. Why? I don't know. Our heroes guess the angels messed up when they changed his memory. That's a terrible explanation, but okay. All the talk of Caleb and his family reminds Elena that, oh yeah, there's a bunch of angry werewolves in town, and Carolyn was pregnant with Tyler's werewolf twins in the other reality. Is that still happening in this reality? Nobody cares enough to check. Carolyn could be a monster. It'd only take a minute to call her and check that she's okay, but no. As for Tyler, he's gone. He ran away when summer started in both realities. Again, nobody bothers to check. We don't know why he ran away. It sounds to me like the author didn't want to bother with Tyler and Carolyn, so they just disappeared, never to be seen again. The same is true for Meredith's long-lost twin brother. In this reality, he's not lost. He's just out of town, where we don't have to bother with him. Our heroes realize the culprit is a phantom, a monster that feeds on emotions. The phantom steals the spirits of Elena, Matt, Bonnie, and Damon. They wake up in a rose field, which is connected to the dark moon where Damon was reborn. Cool scenery, I guess, but ultimately pointless, because the phantom and our heroes are transported to a garage for the big finale. Celia figures out how to defeat the jealousy phantom. Everybody needs to confess why they're jealous of their friends. It's actually kind of sweet. They all admit why they like each other so much. Aww. For a while, it looks like the Phantom's gonna win because Stefan and Damon both refuse to admit they love each other. Elena convinces them with a passionate speech. Let's be honest, she could have just batted her eyes at them and said, "Pretty please?" That probably would have convinced them because they do everything she says. Once the confessions are over, Elena rips a rose out of the Phantom's fiery chest and the Phantom dies. Damon is temporarily nice to everyone. Elena confirms she's madly in love with both Salvatore brothers, and that's okay. No, it's not. Really, this is a terrible situation. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book has a different author from the previous 7. It was written by an anonymous ghostwriter, not L.J. Smith. No offense to Smith, but I think I like the new author better. My biggest problem with the previous trilogy was the pacing. Those books are humongous and bloated, and it takes way too long for things to happen. The pacing in this trilogy is so much better. Part of that is due to the new author, and part of that is due to the fact that these books are over a third shorter. The story felt like it was continually moving. Yes, there is room for improvement. Some parts, like the segment in the Dark Dimension, could have been removed, but overall it was an improvement in terms of pacing. For me, this just confirms what I said in the previous video. If the Return trilogy had been split up into shorter books, it would have worked better. It looks like this trilogy goes with 400-page books, and the next trilogy has 300-page books. So maybe the publishers agreed with me about having shorter books, or maybe the authors just didn't want to write as much. The book is inconsistent when it comes to the new reality. Stefan and Tyler have the same bodies they had in the old reality. Meredith does not. It seems unfair that Meredith loses her half-vampire body, while Tyler keeps his full werewolf body due to crimes that his alternate self committed. Elena still has water from the Fountain of Eternal Youth. She thinks about it briefly and decides, nope, she can't even think about it, or else the angels might realize it's there and take it away. That seems like a pretty weak excuse to ignore it. This, in addition to the weak excuses for ignoring Tyler, Carolyn, Meredith's brother, and the town's werewolf population. It's surprising that they literally changed realities, but they're still looking for excuses to drop plot points. Overall, it's not a perfect book, but I thought it was a big improvement over the previous trilogy with its good pacing and emotional drama. And hey, it's a standalone book that doesn't end on a huge cliffhanger. That's a nice change. I give Vampire Diaries number 8, The Phantom, an 8 out of 10. I would say it's definitely comparable to the original trilogy, or book 4. Maybe not quite as good as book 4, because that was the best book of the series so far, but it's still very good, much more like the original trilogy than books 5 through 7.